afternoon now, but we say GM in crypto. It's kind of culture now. So I'm really excited to talk about a very interesting and kind of a new topic, which is decentralized social networks. I hope a lot of you already know about it, but today we will go deep inside. We will talk about various protocols. We will talk about various infrastructure layers. We will talk about storage layers and many other things. We will talk about their use cases and many more. Uh, Yeah, so before we go forward, I would like to introduce myself a bit. My name is Aditya Chaudhary. I'm a full stack developer, a student full stack developer. I create various projects in Web3. I have built a platform known as Spotify.app that allows people to, perform crypto transactions inside Discord. Apart from that, I have also built this app, which is Circulate app. It's a decentralized social app, kind of like a Reddit alternative, but built on a blockchain. And apart from that, I have won more than 10 hackathons in Web3. And this is just my experience in Web3, by the way. Apart from Web3, I have built games. I have built like 5 games, and all those combined have more than 1 million plays around the globe. Oh, this thing is not working. We are having some web issues. Yeah, sorry for this. So our topic is what is decentralized social network and why we need it. So in case any of you have some attention problem, I could add the Subway Surfers gameplay at the left. I think I have heard that people love this. I just don't know why. So before we talk about what is decentralized network and blah blah things, we should talk about why we need it at all, because the legendary scientist Albert Einstein has once said, "Tell me why I need this before telling me what it is." Although he has never said it, it's just a meme, and never trust quotes on the internet now. So let's firstly talk about current state of social media, right? So the first and most important part is all of them are closed source. What I mean by closed source is they are run by private corporations. All those operations happen behind the closed doors. They sell your data, you are not even aware of them. And they basically rots your brain with their algorithms. They are not transparent, they do various things. And this is one of the reasons why people nowadays have a very less attention span, because they consume such short content, and the algorithm is built in such a way that kind of promotes people to watch such content, and we have no option. In fact, decentralized social network at least gives you an option to use something better, to use something of your own choice. Next topic is censorship. We know it, right? When something is run in the hands of some individual company, or nowadays companies are even run by individual person, if you know what I'm talking about. So you can be deplatformed, right? You don't own your handles, you don't own your content, it can be deleted. Your profile handle can be taken. We have seen this many times, right? And you own nothing, obviously. So that's censorship, API pricing. I really want to talk about API pricing thing. So you all know, right? Out of these people who have used Twitter APIs, raise your hand. Oh, nice. So you all know, right? These days, Twitter has kind of closed their API thing, and now you want to pay like thousands of dollars just to get a taste of what their API is, and that too is very limiting. And I'm just talking about just one platform, which is Twitter. And if you know about other platforms like Facebook and other things, you will have to sell your DNA system, you will have to sell your blood test, blood group, everything just to get access to their APIs. But this is not in the case of decentralized social networks. We will talk about it. So, have any of you heard about Stage? It's an Indian company. It's trying to be a Netflix of India, right? So before Stage, their founders had built this witty feed thing, which was an entertainment platform built over Facebook. They used to do a revenue of $7 million, and overnight they were closed just because Facebook made a small change into their API thing. And overnight their company was all done, over. So you see, that's the kind of control such corporations have. And of course, no monetization. Well, I think if we talk about some recent changes, for example, Twitter has started giving revenue shares to people, which is a great change, obviously. So I think world is going into a better direction, and I think more and more platforms provide a better revenue. And apart from that, centralized social media platforms provide ad revenue, but decentralized social platforms provide more kind of revenue. We will definitely talk about it. and ads, bots. Yeah, that was another some Web1 issue. Anyways, moving forward, we know there are ads and bots and spams, right? And it is kind of hard to discriminate between a post made on social media, whether it is made by an AI bot or it is made by a human being, right? But decentralized social media changes it. I will talk how decentralized social media helps us to discriminate between a real people or a bot. And yeah, no interoperability, right? So this is a bit complex term. I will explain it to you. So when you use Twitter, you have your following, you have your social graph, but the same following is not present on every other platform, right? Let's say if you have some followers over Twitter, those followers cannot see your content if you post your content over Instagram. So this is the problem. Interoperability basically refers to the ability of a network system or an application to interact with each other. So centralized social media platforms have no interoperability at all. Basically, one platform cannot exchange data with any other platform. And this is why this thing happens. These days, every day there are some new social media platforms being created here and there. So this is exactly what happens. You start with zero, you have zero followers, you have zero content there. And this is one of the reasons why there has been no innovation in social networks since Facebook, I would say. Nobody wants to build anything, and no innovation has ever done. And the reason is that it is very hard to, already build a social network, and it is more hard to get users. And when your platform does not have users, when your platform does not have content, other people would not want to join. So that's another problem. So what is decentralized social network? By far, I think a lot of you would have already have an idea what it is. It's basically the reverse of centralized social media. It has mostly things which centralized social media platforms don't. It's a social media network powered by peer-to-peer blockchain systems, right? Where everything is owned by people and it is for the people, and there's transparency, open source, and of course they are interoperable. The first advantage of decentralized social network is that you own your social graph, the best and most important. So there is no decentralized social networks, your followers, your content, and everything is not owned by you. It's owned by some company. They can do whatever they want with your data. They can delete it, they can remove your profile, or they can sell it to some other companies behind the doors. We never know. But in Web3, you own your everything. And censorship resistance, right? So basically, decentralized social apps can also censor you, but this is an interesting concept. Basically, our protocol never ever censors anyone. If you have a wallet on any blockchain network, you can always interact with it. But apps built on decentralized social networks can opt out what kind of content they want to show to regular users. And no bias content moderation. When something is done by an individual organization or group, a lot of moderation can be a bit biased, right? For example, let's talk about Reddit. I think in many subreddits we see, whenever you try to make a post to a new subreddit, they just immediately delete it and tell you that, okay, we have this policy, we have that policy, you need this much, and blah blah things. And global accessibility. We know that blockchain is anyone can access a blockchain network from anywhere in the world. An app can be banned in a specific place, but the whole network cannot be banned. In fact, let's say if a country or any place wants to ban something, they can definitely do it. But people there, can start their own network, which is built on that blockchain itself. So it's globally accessible. It's a place where anyone from the world can be there and use a better. We know it, right? Sorry, this mic is not working. Hello. Well, once again, some other Web1 issues. So yeah, we were talking about security, right? Blockchain systems are secure. You need your private keys to have in your pocket. Otherwise, only then somebody can hack it. So in terms of security, it's much better. And diverse business models, right? So if I were to talk about business models, there can be various apps built around a single protocol network, giving various kind of features to users. For example, in the same network system, somebody can build a decentralized Reddit where anyone who wants to make a post to a subreddit will get some reward or something through a royalty program in an NFT, right? And moderators too can earn from those contents, just from the royalty of NFT. And of course, they have interoperability, right? All these apps, which is built on one single infrastructure layer, can talk with each other, can share data among each other. So yeah, they are interoperable. So this is the basically this is a social market map, which is created by Masadi, credit to him. So we will talk about base layers, we will talk about social graph layers, application layers, and also some frontends later on. So these are the very few popular social graph protocols. We have Lens here. I have worked with Lens. It's a brilliant thing. You should try it definitely. I have worked with Spring too. I have also worked with the people at Spring. Spring is actually built on Solana, by the way. Ad protocol is by Jack Dorsey, if you know. Ad protocol is also Blue Sky. And then we have Definity. Definity is like it is also known as internet computer, right? They have their own storage things and everything. And a very famous decentralized social app is there, which is Decentralized. You should definitely try it. And then we have Mastodon. If you guys know, Meta recently launched Threads, and they plan to integrate with Mastodon just to make Threads a bit more decentralized. And Warpcast was earlier known as Farcaster. It's also a very popular protocol in the decentralized ecosystem space. Then we have Dizo, then we have Steemit. Steemit was the first protocol ever built to kind of power decentralized social networks. And then we have Orbis, then we have Hive. And these are some popular client apps. We have Lenster, Blue Sky, Farcaster, Damita, Lemmy, Mirror, Publish, Insta, LivePeer for various purposes. Now we need to talk about, there are some problems with it. I would not say that, okay, this is very good, this is all great, you should use it, and blah blah, it's going to replace the whole centralized thing. No, it won't. So we will talk about some problems. There are two kinds of problems. First type of problem is that there is a solution for it, but a lot of protocols have not implemented it. And the other kind of problem is that there is no solution for it. So maybe any of you can find a solution to that problem. We will talk about it. So this is exactly what happens in Web3 space, right? If you talk to a crypto bro is just a mean word, by the way. So when you say, okay, Web3 is so good, this is so great, and blah blah things, they'll be very happy. And when you start to talk about some of the aspects that we should talk about, like we should talk about like what is actually some things that are wrong, only then we can work on it. So this is the kind of reaction people give. Oh, you cannot talk wrong about our protocol, which I hold backs off. So one of the problems with decentralized social network is that scalability. I will tell you one thing, 95% of the social networks, decentralized social networks which are built are not scalable. The moment they start to get users, the latency of these apps start to decrease. The user have to wait for like 10 seconds just to make a post, which is like a big turn-off. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of decentralized social networks in the past have failed. And no right to forget. Right to forget is an interesting concept. So on current social media platforms, when you make a post, you can delete it. It's actually not deleted from the server, but nobody in the world can see that content, right? But on Web3, the problem is that the data is stored on the blockchain forever. You cannot delete it. So there is no way to actually forgive someone for saying something wrong. For example, you can have an opinion right now about something, but you may change your opinion later on next 2 to 3 years. But you will always be blamed for those things which you have posted in the past. So that's a big problem that I think a lot of Web3 protocols should look forward to solving. And I'm not aware of any protocol which is actually trying to solve this problem, because everything you do in Web3 crypto space, it cannot be deleted. So I think, yeah, definitely this is something that needs to be solved, and maybe one of you would try to definitely solve it. And of course, poor user experience. When you use it, you just open it and start using it. No big deal. But when you try any decentralized social app, it has this wallet thing. You have to create a wallet. But turns out you don't have the wallet. You have to download it from Chrome App Store. You download the wallet and you set up it. That's too much work. It's already a red flag, and I bet that 95% of average person would not use it. And this is exactly what happens. When you tell your friends that, okay, I just found this nice Web3 app, and it has ZK technology, it has AI, this is blah blah things. This is the kind of reaction they give. And this is the reason why mass adoption of Web3 apps has not been done yet. And of course, this is the kind of end of our session. This is an MA session. Feel free to ask me any questions related to decentralized social networks, of course. Don't ask me any investment advice. I'm a terrible trader, by the way. So yeah.
So let's do an evening session. So whoever has questions, you can raise it.
Thanks for the session. Very nice session. So whenever something which is publicly going to be available or which is very largely available to public, any kind of government would want to have some control over it. If the government is not able to control anything which is publicly available, it's just going to ban it. So how do you think government can have control, some kind of moderation over it? Let's say there are riots, so the government want to stop it, right? So in fact, Web3 can actually help governments. For example, if we talk about misinformation, it's a thing, right? A lot of misinformation is spread across entire social networks, and it's very hard to stop it. Even governments, even if they try to centralize social networks, they are not able to do it. But with a blockchain thing, you can actually have a history of all the posts, and you can see what person or what address actually started that misinformation, and you can punish them. Which is up to the government what they have to do with that person. But talking more about the control thing, you are definitely right. In fact, a lot of apps, the governments can actually kind of partnership with the apps of their own country. Right? For example, if I build a social network here, I would kind of give some sort of power to the government that they can kind of regulate us. We will definitely do some things according to what government will say. One can definitely hide posts on on the app layer of things, right? So I think this is how it's gonna work. And again, whenever you create something like this, it's definitely hard to stop people from, doing the things they want to do, right? For example, there are things like 4chan and other dark web stuff that I don't want to talk about here. But again, you can always censor people on the app here, and I think that's what government can do when they want to do something like this.
That makes sense. A little bit hybrid of Web2.
Exactly. There's this cycle. Something starts with centralization, it goes to a decentralization, then it again wants to be into that centralization circle, right? So it can never be a stable thing. It will always go in this cycle.
Yeah, that was.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Please.
As you said that decentralized social networks are censorship resistant. So how will you prevent the misinformation that is spread on the networks?
Yeah. In fact, just told you about the same thing. So it's like whenever you do anything on a decentralized social networks, all these events are stored on a time-stamp basis, right? For example, let's say if I talk something wrong about somebody, let's say if my post has a word which is like, let's say it has a word like racist. So I can query on the blockchain that I will see which person has made a post having a word racist and see the whole history of the word racist getting circulated among everybody. I will see which person who has the most followers has retweeted or reshared it. So this is how I think decentralized social networks do not want to permit people to start misinformation. How that makes sense to you?
Yeah, thank you.
So do we have any other questions?
Okay, so you said through blockchain the spread of misinformation can be stopped, right? So my question was like if someone creates an address, like a random address from any random device and posts something to that and deletes it and forgets it, so how can that person be tracked?
The thing is, you can do anything on the blockchain, right? But it has to be spread. So you can see the history of those things, those people who have tried to share it, right? If you post anything on social media right now, you don't get any engagement. You have 0 retweets, you have 0 posts, nothing. No one will see. But you can see on the decentralized network that you can see the list of people who have liked those posts. You can see the list of people who have retweeted that hate content, and then you can take action on that basis.
But that won't solve the problem, right? Because those people just shared it.
Right? That's the thing, right? If you will see someone who has a lot of followers, and if he shares it, then that person can be held accountable, right? Like they will definitely do whatever they want, but that thing cannot be spread because the blockchain system doesn't permit people to spread it because everybody can see it, right?
I hope that answers your question. So can we have a round of applause for Aditya for his most insightful session? Thank you.
Thank you everyone, you were a nice audience.
Starts in after 10 minutes. That's